Yes, very excited for our next session to welcome Adeeb Ahamed, who is the Managing Director and Founder of Lulu Financial Holdings. We are going to talk money flows. Please, welcome. Adeeb, again, first and foremost, thank you so much for supporting our mission here and partnering with us on the launch of this edition, which we hope to do for a long, long time here in the Gulf. And it's so important to partner with a company because you're a homegrown Abu Dhabi success story, Lulu Financial Holding, a global financial services conglomerate, for those of you who don't know, specializing in cross-border payments, digital remittances, and foreign currency exchange. I think what I find really fascinating is, and essential about your company, is that you're kind of the connective tissue in a GCC region whose economies are so reliant on foreign talent and workers. You operate in 11 countries in the GCC, the Indian subcontinent, and APAC. So really happy to be having this conversation with you. We've been talking obviously about the region overcoming the recent tensions, and it serves us as a reminder of how quickly environments can change. You're someone who makes really long-term investments. You've been doing that for a long time. How do you kind of maintain that conviction and stay focused on the bigger picture when there's so much sort of short-term events causing a lot of uncertainty?
So firstly, thank you for having us, being part of your journey here in Middle East. Really excited on this time, not just because of what is happening around us. I think most of the people in this room would agree to the factor that volatility has been a constant factor, at least in the last 5 years. So we had the COVID, and then came the Ukraine-Russia saga, which still continues. We have the subcontinent issue between India and Pakistan. Then we move to the South China Sea, and then the latest entrance between the US and the Iran. So I think volatility has always been a factor on this side. What is interesting for us is the kind of technological revolution that has also happened during this period of time when it comes to digitalization and so on and so forth. As an organization, what we believe is to the factor that the belief in your vision, the ability to see and navigate and have the trust of your consumers and also your partners, and to be disciplined all throughout the time is the most important aspect of any organization. And how do we do this is based on 3 convictions. For us, we anchor ourselves to our beliefs. We know that what we are here to set out to achieve, what we need to build, and what is the mission and vision that we have for our organization. We also focus on resilience as not a short-term aspect, but also a long-term focal matter. And then we separate fundamentals from the noise that happens around us. For us, it's very important that, the noise is always short-term, but the fundamentals of the organization is the key and the important aspect.
This is, long-term, thinking long-term, resilience. This is vocabulary that I hear a lot here in Abu Dhabi. I hear it from Mubarak a lot. Is it easier to think this way because you are in Abu Dhabi?
It's easier to think because the whole society thinks like that way. It's easier to implement something. It's because we're not just the one organization that's doing it. The entire economy, the entire country is aligned to a certain vision, and that helps us. And the ability to do it where we can bring talents in plenty also makes it much easier for us.
So you've built businesses spread across remittances, payments, lending, digital finance. When you're looking ahead, what are financial services going to look like in 10 years? What changes are people kind of underestimating?
I think the most important factor is that the changes that we will see in this decade would outpace what has happened in the last 2 decades. Real time has now become a de facto factor when it comes to payment industry. Stable coins, Bitcoin, stable coins, blockchain, tokenized assets, CBDC, they will all find a path in the near future. AI would sit as an operating base layer in every organization. Transformation and policy changes should be aligned to the AI element of functioning. And predominantly what you would see that organizations need to embed AI as a part of the organization's DNA would become the key challenge for every organization moving forward.
Again, just localizing it within a UAE context, do you think that the UAE is different amongst markets in the region and implementing that?
Is one of those countries that has a strategy on AI for and Vision 2031 set forward that things. So what really happens is that it gets aligned to everything that the country is doing. An organization could align because of the digital and the physical infrastructure that the country has already put in place. It makes it much more easier.
Again, the UAE is emerged as kind of one of the world's fastest growing fintech hubs. What are the advantages that the region has today? And then what needs to happen for this to really kind of become a truly global financial innovation center?
I think the greatest advantage that we have is access to talent and access to capital, and this too creates a great landscape for everything else to be built on top of this one. And then you have the layer of having a nationalized strategy on AI building, I think so like many organizations, we believe that there is 4 stages on AI adaptation. The first one is awareness and experimentation, which most of the companies at this era is doing. The second thing is using AI to automate, which most of the companies have started to adopt on the automation phase. The third is transformation. The third is implementing AI as a DNA into the functioning of your organization. And that's a very hard task, So you got to rewrite everything that your organization has believed into the thought process and start to embed that the AI would take a leading role in the functioning of your organization. And by doing that implementation, you reach the transformation stage where you would find that majority of the functioning of the organization's decision-taking capability would be led by an AI functionality, more data-led, more thought-led, more scenario-led, and that is a huge transformation. So I think the first two is what has been embedded by almost 60-70% of the organizations worldwide. The third and the fourth is what companies are really aspiring to reach. We have seen that a lot of money has been spent on this aspect. My 2 cents advice is that any money spent on an AI should be actually measurable, and it should create tangible results to the organization.
Are you seeing that today at Lulu?
Yes. So we launched an AI hub here in early of this year, I think February or March, if I'm not mistaken. The reason why we did it here is because first, it's a country that has access to capital and talent, has a national strategy that is developing and getting both the government and the private sector to align itself on the AI strategy, and to the factor that we strongly believe that we have to rewrite the DNA of our organization to be AI-led.
And is that an easy process? And again, I always like to go back to the UAE. Do you find that it's easier in probably the most AI native society in the world to do that from here?
I think we are a very young society, and a very young age, gender. The age of the people here is generally on mid 20s to 25 to 35. So I think the adaptability is much more easier down here. But I think from a strategy, it's easy to write one, but from an organization, it's very hard to implement. Because the senior leadership of many organizations comes from an era to which this is a very new concept. So for them to enable and let you to get that kind of DNA change to the organization, that's a task. But I think if your organization needs to be future ready, it has to be done.
Adeeb, thank you so much. Really grateful for your time, grateful for your support, and on to our next interview.
Thank you very much.